We're at the end of June, and June is always a hectic month, and this year has been no exception. But the polytunnel is all planted out, all of the crops are pretty much now in the ground, including the dahlia patch. I've built squash frames, archways to go up. It's just been pretty mega. I've also crammed in a visit to BBC Gardeners World Live, the show, and also a nursery visit as well, which was good fun. I thought I'd film my intro today down here at the bottom where I've got my climbing trellis, which is just looking absolutely awesome right now, with the roses at the top, which you can't quite see, then the clematis, and then honeysuckle and the ginkgo. I mean, it's just ticking all my boxes right now. I absolutely love it. And a memory popped up on my pictures the other day and reminded me that I only did this 3 years ago this month. So I'll show you a picture of how it used to look. The clematis was always here, but I decided to use this bit of, it's called Harris fencing, and it's what they use on building sites to stop people going where they shouldn't. And I've used that to create a screening so that you can't see my very messy corner and compost bin area behind there. But yeah, June has been pretty hot. We've had some very hot days reaching sort of 27, 28 degrees C. And it's been quite windy for the last few days, and we've also had a few days of torrential rain, which has been a bit of a lifesaver because the plot was starting to get incredibly dry and my water butts were running really low. Starting to get a bit panicky about how we're going to get through summer, but that's helped. So hopefully we will have occasional downpours of rain to just help things going along. I'm actually feeling really relaxed and relieved right now because today I've had an epic tidy up of the plot, and by which I mean, you know, when you just shove it all under the rug or under the bed, yeah, all that rubbish is hiding behind this frame behind me. But it means the plot is looking much better, and it means that when I'm here I'm feeling much more relaxed. And because everything's now in the ground and I'm not tending to hundreds of pots, I can breathe a little bit and it feels really good. So we're going to go on a tour. I'll show you everything that's planted, some new features, lots of new plants that I've bought from various shows and nurseries, and the polytunnel, which is now completely planted up with all of my tomatoes and my chillies as well. So it's all systems go, and ready to put my feet up now a few times and just breathe and take it all in. The weather has been very changeable today. We've had a bit of rain, strong winds, cloud, and now the sun's coming out, so fingers crossed it stays like that for the remainder of the tour. Let's head up to the gate before it clouds over again. Oh yeah, and I've also got to show you a very special rose that's come out into bloom. Mr. Roald Dahl has finally made an appearance, and it's such a gorgeous colour. Just you wait. Well, it's been quite a day of tidying and weeding, and the plot still looks incredibly wild, so just watch out for the brambles and the nettles as we go down, because everything wants to grab your feet at the minute and your legs. But look, over in Grandma's border we've got the geranium in bloom, lots of this lovely little feverfew as well, and the red campion that's actually pink. Why do they call it red? So it's continuing with the red, the pink and blue theme even now, and we've got more rosebuds on the way on the Mary Rose. Lots of oxeye daisies, or is this, no, Leucanthemum. I remember I moved this down to the wildlife corner a few years ago, but it turns out I hadn't got rid of all of it. And look at this, it looks absolutely amazing from the other side. And just such a happy flower to greet you as you walk in. Over at the old plum tree, well, the climbing rose that I put here, where is it? I'm sure I saw a bud the other day. I need to, aha, here it is. I need to tie it in again. But look at that, Williston Old Hall is about to put on its first 5 flowers. 1, 2, 3, oh no, 4 flowers. And I also planted out this little climber, the Kobe scandens, that I also need to tie in. So fingers crossed these are gonna romp away up the old tree. You just see my peas there growing. Oh my gosh, I've got a pod. Can you see that? I've got a few pods. So over here is my main sort of mixed veggie section at the moment, and I've been harvesting so much lettuce. Not that you would think it from this, but these have now gone to seed. They're starting to bolt. Can you see how tall they are? That means the flavour isn't any good anymore, unfortunately. I mean, you could eat it, but it tastes incredibly bitter. I don't like it when it tastes really bitter. So I could pull these out, compost them, and then start. So I need to sow some more actually. It's that time of year where you start to forget about seed sowing, but you need to carry on seed sowing, guys. A very busy month. Also down here I've got what I hope is courgette. It doesn't look like a squash because it doesn't look like it's going to climb, crawl everywhere, you know what I mean? Staying quite compact, so I think it is, which means this one should be as well. So I do have some courgettes. I planted 2 because I wasn't sure what they would be. 2 is far too many plants for just me and my fiance. Never mind. But look at the peas. They've really gone for it this month. And can you see what I mean about those daisies in the background? Just looks so nice in the evening sun. My potatoes. They flopped over a fair bit in the sheer weight of the foliage and the wind. We've had a lot of wind and heavy rain over the last few days, but they haven't snapped. They're doing okay, so I'm just going to leave them to it. It won't be long now until we harvest the first potatoes, which I'm really excited about. Need to get some Charlottes out. But look at this, these giant plants behind me. So pretty. That yellow is a parsnip, and I love letting parsnips go to seed like that. Strawberries already, and they have tasted absolutely incredible, especially because I've been eating a very low carb way of eating recently, keto if you know it. It means I've not been eating anything carby or sweet for about 4 months now, and I had my first strawberry the other day and it was just absolutely incredible. Like, the sweetness made my mouth and my saliva glands go into like overdrive. But since then I've had a few, but then I saw something rustling around and moving in the cage. It was only very small, and I think there's either a mouse or a vole that can fit easily through the chicken wire cage, and he's just helping himself to my strawberries, which I'm really not too happy about because it's one of my favourite crops. But never mind, this is just how it is. And I think next year I'm going to do something a bit different, because this area is getting far too congested with ground elder and bindweed, and I just want to start afresh somehow. Also, it's really hard to differentiate the old plants from the new plants, and you really want to have like a bit of a 3 or 4 year cycle with them. So I'm just going to think about that, see what I'm going to do, perhaps upgrade the cages because they are starting to show their age now. Yeah, that's a project for next year, I think. And carrying on further down, pretty sure they weren't here for the last video, but I now have 3 archways that I'm going to grow my crops up. This one is going to be for the Kobe scandens, which is this cup and saucer flowering vine, the same as what's on the old plum tree. I also harvested all of the alliums from down this section, including Allium schubertii, that are absolutely enormous. I mean, look at that. I've got so many of them at home now, drying upside down, hanging from every part of my house, it feels. But yes, they're just absolutely incredible, aren't they? They're going to make such good decorations, especially at winter time, but it's like a big sparkler or a magic wand. I do have a separate video coming soon about this area and how I've built my frames, where they're from, and all of that sort of thing. So tune into that probably in the next few days. And down here is where I haven't done much weeding at all, and it really shows, especially down there, but we'll get to that in a minute, because something important I want to show you down here. It's here. Rosa Roldal it's finally blooming, and what a beautiful colour it is. I bought this rose bare root in April, planted it in April, and just 2 months later it's created 12 blooms, or buds at least, which I think is very, very impressive. I can't quite believe that. It's looking to be quite a prolific rose, and I'm really excited to see how it progresses. I would be over the moon if I had some for the wedding, but I'm not going to hedge my bets because it'll be quite late in the season by then, and it is its first year. But what an impressive start. I mean, I have been feeding it, I've been loving and nurturing this like it was a child. But yeah, I'm just really impressed with how it's doing so far. It's now the time of year where we have the June drop, but I haven't noticed the June drop yet, have you? If you're not sure what it is, it's when essentially your apple tree will drop a load of the baby apples that it's holding as a way of just putting more energy into fewer of the apples. That didn't come out very well, did it? But yeah, essentially, if your June drop doesn't happen, it's a good idea to remove some of the apples that you have in clusters, because otherwise you'll end up with lots of teeny tiny little apples. So I try and keep the clusters to a pair or a 3, but I can see over here there's one that's got like 5 apples. That's no good. They're not going to have enough room to grow, and they will stay quite small unless we thin them. So I'm just going to try and twist away one of these. If another one comes out as well, doesn't matter. There we go, a pair. So now they'll get nice and big. And the same thing up here. Take that tiny one off. I might also take one of these off as well. There we go. But yeah, naturally it'd normally do this by itself in June, but I haven't noticed many of them fall. Down in the wildlife corner, it is particularly wild this month. Yeah, I don't even have a pathway anymore because this is what I'm met with, but I can see we have, let me zoom in, some lovely little daisies. And then that there is the field scabious that the butterflies absolutely love. We've got some thistles, some nettles, the last of the foxgloves. And down here we've got some lupins and the delphinium behind it. Oh, and a bit of salvia, can you see there? Did you hear that wren? I just love their song, it's so loud. And this evening light is absolutely glorious. Oh, look at that. So what do we have down here? A few new plants. Now, I say new, they're actually replacement plants because I lost a lot of my pelargoniums last winter. So I didn't bring them indoors because the last time I did that, I brought home a lot of bugs that decimated my chillies that I was growing at home, so I didn't do it. But yes, lots of scented leaf pelargoniums. This one is called Fragrams. Oh yeah, it smells like pine, absolutely amazing. When they're this young, I actually try and take away some of the flower buds so that it puts more energy into growing more foliage and becoming a bigger plant. Oh, so piney, absolutely love it. Oh yes, I bought these from BBC Gardens World live show that I went to on a Thursday. A lot of you actually saw me for the whole 3 seconds of fame I had on the TV show because I was there with my friend Holly, and we got snapped, so to speak, for their footage for the show, looking through some plants. I was aware of it at the time. They did ask for permission and they let us know that they were filming. But yes, well done if you spotted me. I know some of you were asking, was that you? Yes, it was. We did a lot of plant shopping that day. It was a great day. I hope you all enjoyed yourself if you did go. And a special hello to my Scotland friends that I met there, who enjoy watching these videos. So hello, and thanks for saying hello. It was lovely to meet you. But yes, lots of pelargoniums. Since we're looking at potted plants, let's have a look at this other one. which is a eucalyptus gunnii that I recently moved from the side of this plot where it was getting a little bit leggy and sad. And in March, April time, I hacked it back. I literally chopped this big thing in half. And it's giving out all this lovely new young foliage that I'll hopefully be able to use with cut flowers. I've then got my blueberry bush that's covered in little fruits. I hope I get some good crops of these. I need to cover it up so that no birds or mice are going to hopefully get to them. Excuse the massive table. I've been moving lots of things lately. But look at the amaranthus. And also this one, Auroch, in this bed outside the shed. Oh, I put some asters very, very late, I know. I had problems with my seed, but that's how they're doing. Very, very small. Let me know if you think they'll flower in time. I hope so. And then over here in front of what is the carrot bed with no carrots in, I've planted up a very small little new border with some dianthus, because I thought, why not? We had them at work and I thought they looked very pretty. And I also went to a new nursery and they have the collection, national collection of hardy chrysanthemums. So I bought a few. This one is called, oh, it's rubbed off a bit, something H. Wilson. An extremely old rare variety with stems and glorious scent, single flowers, autumn flowering. So these are going to be great for really late colour on the plot. I believe I got 2 orangey ones and a whitish one. This one is called Edelweiss, that's the white flower. And the last one is called Apollo. So that's what they're called. Obviously they're not going to be flowering for quite some time yet. But yeah, let me know, do you grow chrysanths? Should I don't think I should be pinching these out, should I? I'm going to leave them to it. Ooh, another new plant. This one I'm really excited about. Can you tell what it is? Again at Gardener's World, I'm going to blame Holly. Holly, if you're watching, this is your fault. There was a stand with lots of eucalyptus on. This one is called Eucalyptus morii, little or narrow-leaved Sally. So yes, rather than the big round leaves like the gunnii, which the other one has over there that I cut back, this one has very long, almost olive-like foliage with a dark red stem. I really love it. It's unfortunately borderline hardy. I have to think about what to do with it in the winter time if it gets very cold. If you've got any experience growing this one, let me know. How could I almost miss my favourite section of the plot right now, where I film my intro. I've got a canna here that one of my customers gave me at work, which was very, very kind of him. The aces that I potted up in the spring, and the pond that still doesn't have any new fish. Looks like I've got some rose petals falling in there. But it's good to see that the water clover is coming back up. All of these have been quite late to return. And the arrowhead there, and look, another new addition. This is Judith Mark III. I thought about changing the variety to something different, but I don't care. I love Judith. Judith has incredible colouring, and if you're not familiar, this is a carnivorous plant that eats flies mostly, ants as well, sometimes moths, but she's going to live in my pond again, and I may well put her back in the rock. But this time over winter I'm going to put it in the tunnel where I put the sundew, which survived, but unfortunately the pitcher plant didn't. So, oh my gosh, I've just noticed my water lily is coming back as well. That's taken its sweet time, although I did move it further down. Then we've got more aces, soft caress mahonia, and just all of this loveliness. Oh, the light is starting to fade, but over at here we've got the cosmos looking so lush. This one's apricotta, a new one from Chilton's. But I think I've made a bit of a mistake with my planting up here, because I've put the apricotta on the left and the purity, the white, on the right, which I think gets a lot taller than apricotta. So I'm a little worried that it'll swamp it out and it won't get as much light, but we will see. I've harvested all of the grass there, put some Rebecca in its place, and then I've got these little ones to harvest real soon. The Love in a Mist, or Nigella. How amazing are those seed pods? Add such texture and shape to a bouquet. I need to do a lot more staking and netting of my plants because they're starting to get tall and you don't want to leave it too late. But these are the straw flowers and they've put on incredible growth in the last few weeks, and it looks like we've got a flower bud on the way there as well. And I did pinch these out as well, so they are looking really good. Now let's head into the polytunnel, where I finally got all the tomatoes and chilies planted, and I'm so relieved. Let's go. Da, 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 da. Although it's still no more empty. Oh, the plants just seem to keep breeding and breeding. Now, I was in a bit of a rush job getting my tomatoes in, so I haven't actually labelled them particularly well, but I know what varieties I'm growing. Let's give it a shake. Do you do the tomato shake? Helps your pollination. And again, I'm using the string system. I replaced it with some plastic twine this year because my jute twine was not great, and I plan on using this stuff for years and years and years, and I know it's not going to rot, so it's the same system as before. However, this year I've actually planted it underneath the plant in the ground, whereas I used to tie the string to the base of the plant. And another thing that I've done differently is I've finally put some wire across the top of the tunnel. And the peppers, well, I've got quite a few varieties. Actually, I am keeping it much more simple compared to previous years, but most of them are either jalapeno, like these. That's a jalapeno, another jalapeno. These little ones are my Scotch bonnets that I've grown from seed that I collected from a Scotch bonnet in a market. So we'll see how they go. I know they're a lot further behind, they're a lot slower growing than your milder chilies, so we will have to see, but I just really hope I get some Scotchies because I missed not having any last year. But yeah, lots of tomatoes on the way, mostly cherries this year. Red cherry, and there's an orangey one as well. Sorry guys, I don't have names for you, but I'm keeping it quite simple this year. We'll see, but one thing that is tumbling are these beautiful nasturtiums. Look at that colour. This is called Salmon Baby, and it's one that I've not grown before, but when they come out they're sort of like a brighter kind of orangey colour, and then they fade to a softer peach, and they're just absolutely stunning with that red streaking. It's gorgeous. Just got these in little pots for decoration more than anything this year. But yeah, there are lots of flower buds on the way on the tomatoes. I just need to keep an eye on the suckers and tying them in as well. You may remember I had a bit of a moment with this grass, the Panicum elegans frosted explosion, because I thought I bought the wrong seed, and then basically it turns out I didn't need to sow them out after all, because the ones that I had in previous years have now self-sown all over the plot. But I'm going to plant these out anyway, just as backup. But look how much I've got now. It's ridiculous. So yes, lots of chilies, looking really healthy, and all my chili plants this year are planted in pots with my own homemade compost, mixed with a bit of coir, and I have put a little bit of sort of chicken manure fertilise in there as well, just to give it a little bit of a boost. And also, look at these. I bought these from the show because they just look absolutely amazing. This is called Chili Pepper Vampire. The chili pepper that bites, it says. Look at that weird little thing it's got going on. Yeah, I mean, I just bought these because they look awesome, and my partner is a bit of a goth and I thought he'd love them too, which is why I also got this one. Just look at that colouring, absolutely incredible. I just love the little flowers. How cute is that? So that's how the polytunnel is looking, still very full despite all being planted out. But I'm actually not growing as many tomatoes as I have in previous years. I think I'm only growing 16 instead of 18 or 19 I used to fit in here. So, but I've also grown far too many chilies, so as soon as all this starts growing, it's going to be ridiculous in here. Need to keep up the airflow, so there will be regular pruning. Well, thanks for joining me for the June tour. I thought I'd sit here amongst the Achillea, but coming up next month, July, I'm going to start harvesting my potatoes, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, we'll see what the weather brings. I feel like it's going to be another hot month. Do let me know how your garden is growing, what are you harvesting, what are you facing challenges with. But whilst you're here, I would love to know if you can help me on something. I've had a few requests to start a Patreon, and it's something I looked at, but then I got a bit stressed about what sort of things I should be offering to you guys as little extras. And then I thought about it too much that in the end I didn't bother. And I know some of you want to support me through Patreon, which I find just truly humbling. And I just want to know, what would you expect? What would you like from a Patreon if I set one up? So if you could make a comment and let me know if that's something you'd be interested in, that'd really help me out, because I just keep dithering and not doing it. I might actually cut some of this home and take it back for drying. I've been drying so many flowers at home and grasses ahead of the wedding, and I'm just ready now for all of these flowers to come up and burst into bloom. The dahlia patch in particular is just going to be incredible by the end of July, so make sure you subscribe so you can see all the colour that's coming, because it's going to be incredible. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.